This moment the round has been processed and we can see the results of round 1. On the left we see the feedback, the management department, and below there the ranking, and when we scroll down we can find our own team down here. When we look at the table for income and operating results, we can see that our total income has decreased. In this way it went from 361,000 to 272,000, and we can see that we're below the average, or below the total income of the top 5 of the teams in the Poppodium game. Same goes for the operating results. We're also below the operating results of the top 5. So this way you can see a benchmark against the top 5 in the game, and we can see that we have to improve on this. When we look at the performance score, we see that we had our actual visitors were higher than the amount of visitors that we could expect on the basis of our programming. So in this way we did quite okay, and we did it on an average together with the top 5 in the game. Looking at the programming, we see that we covered our target group quite well, and but not so well as the top 5. At the other requirements we can see that we fulfilled all the requirements that were needed for the programming. In round 2 we can find extra information about the decisions we have to make for round 2, so read this very carefully. When we go to marketing communication, we can see how we did on our marketing effectiveness, and we can see that we were not very effective with the choice of our channels for marketing communication. When we look at efficiency, we can see we were very efficient, and in this regard we did very well. Our image has increased from 100% to 114%, and that counted also for the extra visitors to our Poppodium. At logistics we can see if we have purchased enough, taking into account the program we have planned in for the quarter. You have to take into account that if your indexes improve, your actually visitor numbers will also increase, and they'll increase beyond the numbers of visitors expected on the basis of the programming. So you have to take that into account when you plan the stocks for logistics. When we look at the refreshments, we can see we purchased the refreshments, and we purchased enough, and luckily that we have some closing stock, and they will not perish, so we can take them to the next round. Same goes for the alcoholic beverages. We did quite good there also, and the same with the toasted sandwiches, etc. When we go to personnel, we can find the index for the personnel satisfaction, and we see that we did quite well on that. And here we can find the utilization of personnel capacity. You have to ask yourself the question here: was your planning correct, or was it necessary to employ temporary employment agency staff urgently? And of course, if they have to be planned in urgently, they cost more money, and that's something you want to avoid. Then we go to finance. We can see our profit and loss. We see our income, total income. We see the total expenditures. We have some interest costs, and here we can see our operating result. When we look at the balance sheet, we see that we increased our bank money in the bank. That's quite okay. And here we can see that we've lended some money from the bank. Under the balance you can find your financing capacity. In this case we still have a lending capacity of a bit more than 87,000 euros. Now we've seen the results of finance, and we can start making decisions for round 2. And then we start, of course, with the programming of the next quarter. This is the end of the instruction video. If you still have any questions, you can write an email to helpdesk@bizgames.nl.